Paddy is gonna lose because if Paddy wins, it's gonna be a problem for me again.
Why do you think so?
I think he's gonna try and avoid me.
You say if he wins against Justin or if he wins against Ilya?
No, against Justin. Against Ilya, he never can beat Ilya.
Okay.
Yeah, he wants me to get hurt because I'm not gonna fight him. I'm a nightmare for him, and he knows that if we're gonna fight, he's gonna lose.
The landscape of the lightweight division in early 2026 is a powder keg of unresolved rivalries and colliding ambitions. At the center of this storm is Arman Tsarukyan, a man who has made no secret of his frustration with the current state of the 155-pound rankings. Despite his undeniable skill and a resume that commands respect, Tsarukyan finds himself in a peculiar position, a nightmare for the elite, yet a man seemingly without a dance partner.
What if Ilya comes back in the summertime, right? And now you've got an interim champion, and usually the interim champion will fight the actual champion.
Maybe.
You're neither of those. That means we're talking about another fight happening, and you're not fighting for the belt, and now we're talking about the back end of the year.
Yeah, but maybe BMF title.
Okay.
So we'll see.
You don't want that, right? You want the real title.
Yeah, I want a real title, but I don't want to wait until the end of the next year. And then Ilya, he fights once a year. Maybe he defend his title in June and then say, okay, I'll fight next year in June. And then what I can do, just stay. And I'm not that young to wait a lot too. So if they give me BMF title, it would be great too. If Charles Oliveira wins, so it's gonna be good. We got the story, and just get that belt, and then say the real.
His recent broadcasts have carried a recurring theme: the belief that the upper echelon of the division is actively conspiring to avoid him. For Arman, the upcoming clash between Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett, isn't just another fight on the calendar. It is a pivotal moment that could dictate the next year of his career. He has been vocal about his hope that Gaethje delivers a devastating knockout, not just for the sake of the rankings, but because he views a Pimblett victory as a logistical disaster. According to Arman, if Paddy wins, the Scows will do everything in his power to keep Tsarukyan at arm's length. He views himself as the ultimate stylistic hurdle for Pimblett, a fighter so dangerous that the baddie would rather eat chicken back in England than step into the cage with him. Tsarukyan's rhetoric is that of a man who feels he's been left in the cold, while others play a game of side quests and profitability. He has positioned himself as the division's most avoided asset, a fighter who is forced to stay active and chase bags elsewhere, because the big-name fights are being guarded by those who fear his grappling and pressure. He sees Justin Gaethje differently. To Arman, Gaethje is the old guard, a man who, regardless of danger, is prepared to face the most difficult challenges the UFC can throw at him. In Arman's eyes, a Gaethje win opens doors, whereas a Pimblett win locks them. Justin Gaethje, however, is operating on a completely different frequency. Now 37 years old, the human highlight, is fully aware that the sand in his hourglass is running thin. He doesn't just want to win over Paddy Pimblett.
Because once I get this belt, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to beat Ilya. I'm going to beat Paddy. I'm going to beat Ilya. And then I got to get Max back. Have to. So I need him to win. I need him to beat Charles.
Yeah, right.
Actually, I guess it doesn't matter. They both beat me, so I want either one of those back. Those are the only two guys that I have the opportunity to get back right now. So that's what I'm.
He wants a path back to the gold and a chance to settle the scores that haunt his legacy. Gaethje's vision for the future is remarkably specific. He wants to secure the belt, then go on a tear that includes defending against the likes of Ilya, Topuria, and Pimblett, before finally getting a crack at the man who recently handed him one of the most iconic losses in the sport's history, Max Holloway. The shadow of the BMF title fight against Holloway clearly still looms large in Gaethje's mind. He hasn't forgotten the final seconds of that war, and he hasn't forgotten the feeling of being just one strike away from a different reality. For Gaethje, the road to redemption runs through Charles do Bronx, Oliveira, and Holloway. He is actively rooting for Holloway to conquer Oliveira, not because of friendship, but because those are the only two men who have beaten him recently that he feels he has a realistic opportunity to get back. He is a man driven by the need to close the chapters of his career on his own terms, and the prospect of a massive clash on a White House card against a moving up Topuria or a defending Holloway is the fuel that keeps him in the gym. This late career surge is fueled by a newfound sense of urgency. Gaethje has admitted that every fight at this stage is a traumatic life experience, a roller coaster of highs and lows that makes ordinary life seem dull by comparison. He acknowledges that he is nearing the end, and that realization has transformed his approach to the sport. He isn't just fighting for a paycheck. He is fighting because he has never felt more alive than when he is standing in that circle, knowing everything is on the line. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the psychological warfare and high-stakes maneuvering of the UFC's most volatile division, don't miss out on the rest of the story. Subscribe now to get every update on the road to the title and the final wars of these legendary fighters. While Gaethje contemplates the twilight of his career, Paddy Pimblett is radiating the kind of confidence that only comes from a man who believes he is truly not normal. Paddy has heard the critiques of his striking and the doubts about his wrestling, and he simply laughs them off.
Max Holloway for the BMF belt, a belt that you've held before. What do you think of that matchup?
Yeah, I love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah. I hope Max wins. I hope Ilya goes up, and then I can fight Max on the White House card and take the BMF belt and the championship.
In his mind, he has already found the blueprint to dismantle Gaethje, citing Max Holloway's performance as the definitive guide. He plans to keep the fight on the feet, defying those who think he will immediately dive for a takedown. Paddy's confidence stems from a belief that his striking is vastly underestimated, pointing to his training with partners like Luke Rawley to suggest that he is more than ready for Gaethje's power. Paddy's self-assessment is as unique as his fighting style. He describes himself as awkward and a weirdo, claiming that his movements and grappling are so unorthodox that no sparring partner can truly replicate them for his opponents. This, he believes, gives him an insurmountable edge. When he enters a cage, his adversaries find themselves facing a puzzle they haven't seen in the gym. He doesn't wrestle like a traditional D1 athlete. He doesn't shoot double legs in a textbook fashion. He just wins. And for Paddy, a victory over a legend like Gaethje isn't just a step toward a belt. It's a permanent piece of a legacy he is building brick by brick. The baddie is also keeping a close eye on the featherweight king, Ilia Topuria. The tension between the two has been simmering for years, and Paddy seems eager to welcome Topuria to the 155-pound division. He has already begun the psychological groundwork, mocking Topuria's size and frame. In Paddy's world, weight classes exist for a reason, and he believes that if the smaller Topuria tries to bring that aggression to the lightweight division, it will end in a messy fashion for the Spaniard. For Pimblett, the plan is simple. Handle the legend Gaethje, claim the interim status, which he views as undisputed if the champion is away, and then wait for Topuria to step into his domain. Parallel to the lightweight drama, the eternal rivalry between Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier has flared up once again, proving that some wounds never truly heal. Years after their physical battles in the octagon, the verbal barbs remain as sharp as ever. Jon Jones recently took aim at DC's character, painting a picture of a man who is difficult to work with and surrounded by yes men. Jones characterized their time on set as tense, alleging that Cormier acted like a kid who bossed around staff and refused to be social with those outside his inner circle. According to Jones, his attempts to make peace have been rebuffed because Cormier finds the animosity too lucrative to let go. Daniel Cormier's response was measured but firm. He didn't deny that the relationship is non-existent, but he rejected the idea that he is the one clinging to the past for financial gain. For DC, the rift is deeply personal. He pointed to the history of nasty insults involving their families and Jones' history of controversies as the reason a friendship is simply off the table. He acknowledged that they had moments of cordiality and even shared laughs on set, but he was clear. He isn't going to voluntarily spend time with a man who has caused so much friction in his life. He doesn't harbor the same raw emotion he once did, but he isn't about to let him off the hook either.